Greetings, all you magical people out there. Duuz-Diz-Din with another movie review. This time it's the DC movie Black Adam, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, a lot of this story is told through narration by Amon Tomaz, the son of Adriana Tomaz. And the kid playing Amon, he's not bad in a lot of the action scenes. It's just that his voice just does not carry in such a way where I feel like we should be hearing him so much throughout the movie. But we're told the story of how the people of Kahndaq were enslaved by their king Akton in search of a mineral called Eternium. Sorry, all these weird made-up minerals get confusing a bit. But Eternium would be forged into a crown for Akton so that he could summon the power of the demons, much in the very same manner that the gods bestow their power to create their champion for Shazam. So he enslaved his people, had the mind for Eternium, but one boy decided to rise up and was given power by the wizards to become that incarnation of Shazam to take down Akton. And thus he was sealed away until he would be needed next. Pick up in present day, Adriana Tomaz and her son and her brother all live in Kahndaq, which is occupied by the criminal organization Intergang, who are searching for Eternium. Adriana wants to find it in order to keep it away from Intergang. However, her friend Ishmael Gregor turns out to be a member of Intergang, who helps to lead them to the crown of Akton. But before Adriana and her brother can be, taken out by Intergang, she manages to summon Black Adam, who gruesomely does away with the Intergang members, but he's hit with a rocket powered by Eternium, which is able to actually hurt him. Adriana and her brother take her back to her place, where Black Adam somehow really picks up fast on English because he speaks a different dialect, his native dialect originally. But after talking with Amon for a little bit, he's suddenly able to just instantly pick up on English. I have to assume magic. And Amon, look, I don't hate this kid, but his acting is it's too exposition-y. Nothing about what he says just comes off natural. He's just spouting off all these things to Black Adam about how he should be a hero, a savior, he should be a champion for the people, yada yada yada. For the most part, Black Adam kind of ignores him, but he does take a few things that Amon says to heart. And eventually Black Adam just flies out of their place, completely just bursting through walls like the Kool-Aid Man, seeing a statue of himself, apparently, a massive one in the center of Kahndaq. He also helps Amon and Adriana fend off Intergang, as Amon is really trying to push Black Adam to take care of Intergang. Meanwhile, the Justice Society, including the members Atom Smasher, the second one, I think, who can grow to immense size, Cyclone, in her first live-action appearance, I think the granddaughter of the original Red Tornado, who was an old lady. She has aerokinesis abilities, wind manipulation, Dr. Fate, magical dude, and Hawkman, dude with wings, and Nth Metal, which they never really explain in the movie, but Nth Metal is like this alien metal with magical property. And for some reason, their leader, Carter Hall Hawkman, is in touch with Amanda Waller. I guess coordinating on certain things, it's kind of up in the air. Somehow they get information of Black Adam's resurgence very quickly, I might add. And Carter puts together his team. They head off as Black Adam is just murdering Intergang members left and right. Like this movie gets brutal. Black Adam is very much like he is in the comics. And if nothing else, the just wanton destruction and murder and mayhem he unleashes against these guys, and it's justifiable because they're bad guys, is just, I actually really love just seeing him just murder scores of dudes. But in come the Justice Society to stop him, but the people of Kahndaq already see Black Adam as a hero, and the Justice Society as just people who are those who never looked out for them, so of course they don't trust them. But we get some fun action scenes with the Justice Society versus Black Adam. Again, the action in this movie is actually really fun for the most part. And while Adriana and Amon see Black Adam as a champion, the Justice Society see him as a threat. And while they're busy fighting, Amon gets kidnapped by Ishmael in exchange for the crown. Adriana complies, much to the disdain of the Justice Society, who team up with Black Adam. Black Adam continues murdering a whole bunch of dudes, and he gets kind of funny about it in a certain ways. But during the handoff of the crown, Ishmael goes to shoot Amon, and Black Adam manages to stop it, but his rage is unleashed and the power overflows out of him. It ends up killing Ishmael. Amon is injured. Black Adam feels terrible, flies off. But before Ishmael died, he mentioned how sad Black Adam was when Harut died. Hawkman questions this, and Adam admits that he was not actually the champion. Much like in the New 52 comics, the champion was his son. Well, in the comics it was his nephew, much like Billy Batson. And Harut had a good heart. He wanted to free his people, do a lot of good. But in the comics, Black Adam stole the power of Shazam for himself, greedily, thinking that his son wouldn't have, his nephew wouldn't have what it takes to wield it. In the movie, it's made so that Black Adam isn't portrayed as such a, bastard, honestly. In truth, Black Adam had been unable to protect himself and Harut's mother from the king's assassins. The mother was killed, Teth Adam was injured badly. Harut ends up sharing his power with his father, giving the power over so that his father could live. And once he's depowered, Harut is depowered, he's assassinated right then and there. And this naturally sends Teth Adam into a rage. He goes off, kills King Acton immediately, but also destroys a lot of shit in the process. And I actually found that kind of interesting. That was a kind of interesting twist to the whole story. I actually really enjoyed that. This idea that Black Adam knows that he was not originally the chosen one for this power. He's used it for rage and vengeance and selfishness, and he realizes that and ultimately accepts the Justice Society wanting to put him away in a Task Force X black site, never to see the light of day. But during the course of this movie, Dr. Fate had been having these visions of the death of Hawkman. They thought it was going to be at the hands of Black Adam, but in truth, it was going to be at the hands of Ishmael, who, because he was holding the crown when Black Adam killed him, this was actually the way to unlock the power of the crown. It was through death that he'd be able to just essentially go to hell and be empowered by the 6 demons. I'm talking Satan, Ame, Ayem, I think, Belial, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Kratos. These demons empower Ishmael into the being known as Sabak, who rises from the depths of hell and starts trying to take over Kahndaq. The Justice Society do their best to try to take him down, but it's no use. And in order to keep Hawkman from essentially marching off to his death, Dr. Fate sacrifices himself in a one-on-one fight against Sabak, while also trying to free Black Adam, seeing him as the only one who could actually properly take down Sabak, because he'd be the only one with enough power to do so. Dr. Fate manages to convince Black Adam before he dies. Black Adam is freed by Dr. Fate, says the words, turns into his powered up self, helps out Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher in the battle against Sabak. They're ultimately able to kill him in a, once again, really fun and cool action scene. Black Adam is allowed to go free. The Justice Society bounces, hoping that Black Adam will make an effort to not be as terribly violent as he has been. And while Adriana and Amon kind of try to push Black Adam to become the ruler of Kahndaq, he chooses to simply be a champion, saying that there are others who are fit to govern Kahndaq rather than himself, but he will be there to protect it. Kahndaq doesn't need a ruler, it needs a leader. And then later During a post-credit scene, Amanda Waller contacts Black Adam, trying to threaten him, telling him not to screw around too much or leave Kahndaq if he knows what's good for him. Black Adam brushes this off, only for him to be later confronted by Superman, played by Henry Cavill, and the crowd goes mild, as this movie has not made a lot of money, which is really unfortunate because it's barely made back its budget time of recording, and it's not a bad movie, that's the thing. I've seen Marvel movies that were a lot worse than this that still made like 3 times as much money. But it's weird because the visuals are great. There are a lot of really good visuals, and The Rock kills it as Black Adam. Like, he bought on in this interpretation, and the stuff with the Justice Society is cool. It's just the way everything is presented. Just the exposition is just so ham-fisted in there, and you just were like, dude, I don't even care about what you're saying. And that's the biggest problem. Like, again, I said that I'm on doing his narration and trying to push Black Adam into being a hero. I get it. I understand why you wanted to do it, the necessity of it, but man, it just immediately had me checking out. Even though I was interested in the story, I was just checking out every time Amon just started talking, either to us or to Black Adam or just his mom. I just started rolling my eyes so hard, and usually I'm not that hard on child actors, but again, it's because he was the narrator as well, and I'm just like, oh man. And the people of Kahndaq even have this moment where they're fighting against these undead hordes that Sabak summons, and even that I'm just like, I get what you were going for, but it did nothing for me. Like, if it didn't involve Black Adam just murdering members of Intergang, or fighting the Justice Society, or the Justice Society teaming up with Black Adam and fighting Sabak, like, that's it. That's all I really care about. And the worst part is, a lot of that great stuff is all in the trailers. Like, the best scenes are all in the trailers. Atom Smasher was greatly visually realized. Cyclone, dude, y'all actually made a really fun visual interpretation of her abilities. That was wild. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was great. Incredible, so good. And I kind of knew they were going to kill him off because I'm just like, you can't get Pierce Brosnan to come back for a sequel if you try for it. But in the comics, Kent Nelson is succeeded by his nephew Khalid, so I could easily see that happening and the Helm of Fate going to him or calling to him or something like that. They address the legacy of Atom Smasher to a certain extent, saying that he gets his powers from, his uncle, it's a family thing, but they don't really address that in terms of Cyclone, despite the fact that it should have been about the same thing, but they say it was nanobots or something, which I guess probably is also in the comics, but I'm kind of surprised that her power isn't genetic, given the fact of the abilities of her grandma, or maybe her grandma didn't have powers? Maybe I'm just assuming she had wind powers. Maybe the original Red Tornado was just a really capable person. Which kind of begs the question, Red Tornado and didn't have powers. I don't really know that much about Ma Hunkel from back in the day, so that's just fascinating to me. Adriana's brother Kareem was actually pretty fun. He got a few laughs out of me, but they were pushing his comedic relief a little too hard in some places. But they didn't quite overdo it. But I gotta say, I'm surprised that this didn't do well just on that post-credit scene alone, with Henry Cavill returning as Superman, something people were begging for the longest time. I would have thought that alone would have at least, at the bare minimum, got this movie up to maybe 500 mil, but No, that's really shocking to me because I watched this movie very late in. It's been out for like a couple of weeks now almost, and nothing. This is it. This is bad. Maybe it's just the fact that Snyder wasn't involved. Maybe that was the thing that kept it from getting a little bit of the juice going, but dang. Or maybe it would have done better if, I don't know, it was Black Adam versus Shazam, not have him fight the Justice Society, but the Shazam family? And that brings up double the questions, because I think Shazam did a lot better than this, and hey, what did you really have to go off of for Shazam? Oh wait, no, I'm looking it up now. No, it did about the same. Wow, that's wild. But there was a lot more money pumped into Black Adam. A whole about 100 million more. Man, I really am just too colored by Marvel movies, cause and anything under like 500 million doesn't seem like a success to me now. But I really feel like people just aren't liking Black Adam in the same way they like Shazam. I'm not really hearing anything that great about Black Adam, like when Shazam came out. Because when Shazam came out, people were shocked by how good they thought it was. But for Black Adam, yeah, people are just like, okay, yeah, it's alright, but I feel like they're being a little bit more harsher to Shazam. To Black Adam, which maybe comes from the fact that Black Adam was just so hyped up by The Rock, only for it to come out and just be pretty good. No, maybe I'm missing something. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about Black Adam? Did you think it was a good movie? Do you think The Rock nailed it? Do you see the issues that people are saying is there in terms of just how the overall story is just cranked out? Because to a certain degree, I'm not sure what you would change without the runtime being bloated, or end up losing some of the fight scenes, which are some of the best parts. Like, you lose out on those fight scenes and it becomes a lot more of a slog to get through. Who knows? You decide. But I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.